Hello children of class 10th. Today I will be taking the lesson whose name is Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom and which is written by Nelson Rohila Mandela itself. So what you call it? It is an autobiography written by Mandela about himself. Before you read, let us read what is written here. Apartheid. Apartheid is a political system that separates people according to their race. Can you say which of the three countries named below had such a political system until very recently? So, recently we can say that South Africa, this country has lived apartheid, type of racism which South Africa had dealt with. What is apartheid? Apartheid, it is, you can say, it is a discrimination between whites and blacks. So, as South African peoples were, they were black in color, and these people they used to be discriminated by the white people. The Britishers used to rule the country, and the Britishers, as you have seen in India also, they used to rule, and what type of tortures they used to do to Indians. In the same way, they used to do the tortures in South Africa also, and black peoples they were against of them, and many freedom fighters they sacrificed their lives for getting freedom. And one of them, Nelson Mandela, was also there who fought for his country, and then they got the freedom also, as you all of you know about it. So here the answer will be South Africa. Now, the second question is, have you heard of Nelson Mandela? Mandela and his African National Congress spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. So, they set up a group that was called African National Congress, ANC, and many people they joined it and they fought for this apartheid. And Mandela had to spend 30 years in prison in order to get freedom. Finally, democratic elections were held in South Africa in 1994, and Mandela became the first black president of new nation. And on 10th May 1994, they got freedom, and he gave an inauguration speech on it that we are going to read in this chapter. In this extract from his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom means how they got freedom. It was a very long, long way to go to achieve the freedom. And Mandela speaks about a historic occasion, the inauguration. Can you guess what the occasion might be? Check your guess with this news items from the BBC of 10th May 1994. So children, you can see here Mandela becomes South Africa's first black president. What it is written here, Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. 3 centuries means 300 years continuously white people they ruled over South Africa, and after that they got freedom. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress party won 252 of the 400 seats in the first democratic elections of South Africa's history. And when Nelson Mandela he uh, was there in the election, when he stood in the election, he got 252 votes out of 400 seats. It was a history made in Africa. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Building's amphitheater, and in order to celebrate his presidency, this function it took place, this great ceremony, this great function, it took place in Union Building, which is called amphitheater in Pretoria. this is in South Africa itself, today, attended by politicians and dignitaries. Politicians, one who participates in the politics, and dignitaries, very high officials. And they were more than 140 countries. The dignitaries, they came from 140 different countries around the world. Never, never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another. Nelson Mandela says in his address. He says that this will never happen again, that black people or the people of Africa will be oppressed in the history again. It will never ever be repeated. Nobody will be oppressed by any one of them, any one of neither by whites or nor by black people. And after that, in that ceremony itself, jubilant scenes, wonderful scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony with blacks, whites, and colored celebrating together. All the people of different countries, they were black, they were white, all of them, they celebrated this day together. And it is said that more than 1 lakh South African man, women, and children of all races, of all castes and creeds, they sang and danced with joy in order to celebrate this function, inauguration function, when he became the president of South Africa. He was the first president of South Africa from black in Africa. So this is the activity. You have to match the sentences. So this you could do yourself. You have to storm your brain and then do the answers. Now, from here the lesson starts. 10th May dawned. The beginning in the morning of the 10th May, dawned is morning, in the beginning when the sun rises. On 10th May, it was bright and clear. The day was very bright and clear. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. And so many people from various countries, they surrounded him. Besieged by means to be surrounded closely by these dignitaries, world leaders. They surrounded Nelson Mandela to pay respect before the inauguration started. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South Africa soil. So this was the first time when people of different countries, they gathered together. It was a very large gathering, you can say largest gathering in Africa, uh, in which international leaders, they participate on this South Africa soil. That means all were very happy when Nelson Mandela, he became the president of this very large continent. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. So these ceremonies, different activities were performed on this day. And this was done in a lovely sandstone amphitheater. What is amphitheater? Here you can see a building without a roof, with many rows of seats rising in steps, like you see in stadium. The seats are raised in the so that many people can watch the game or anything which is being conducted at that place. So in this so in an amphitheater which was of sandstone made, and which is in Pretoria. So all the people, the dignitaries, so many man, women, children, all of them, they came there to see this inauguration for decades. Decades means so many 10 years. That means for hundreds of years, this had been the seat of white supremacy. Earlier, only white people used to sit here in this amphitheater uh, place. Only white people, they used to sit, and now it was the site of rainbow gathering. Rainbow gathering means different colored people, different intellectuals of different countries, they gathered in that amphitheater of different colors, and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. And for the first time, Nelson Mandela, who became the president, in order to pay respect to this person, all the people from different countries, they came here to join this occasion. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Janani. Here, Nelson Mandela, he says that his daughter was there, Janani was his daughter. On the podium, Mr. De Klerk was the first sworn in as second deputy president. And Mr. De Klerk, his name is De Klerk, he was the assistant president. First president, whole soul president was Nelson Mandela, and he was the assistant president after him. And then you can see the picture of Nelson Mandela here. Then Thabo Mbeki was sworn. He also took the pledge in as first deputy president. So, first deputy president, his name was Thabo Mbeki, was sworn in as first president. He also took the pledge when it was my turn. My refers to Nelson Mandela. He says, when it was my turn to take the pledge, I pledged to obey and uphold the Constitution and to devote myself to the well being of the Republic and its people, to the assembled guests and the watching world. So he took a pledge that I pledge to obey and take the Constitution and devote himself for the well being of the people of his country. He said he took this pledge in the ceremony. And to the assembled guests, those who were assembled as guests, they all were watching what he was saying in his speech and what he was about to say in the speech. So, what he says in his speech, from here it begins. From here it begins. I said, Mandela said, today all of us do, by our presence here, confer glory. Confer means give. I give my respect to all of them and hope to newborn liberty. Newborn means it was newborn. Earlier they were in captives, but now they are free. Liberty means they are fully free. So he says that I today all of us do by our presence here confer, give glory and hope to newborn liberty. To all of them, I want to give liberty, and it is this liberty is newborn. After so many years, they had got the liberty to live in their own way. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, this human disaster means people they used to white people they used to torture them, they used to uh, uh, do any harm to them, and it lasted for so many long years, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. And I would like to make this society where all the human beings, all the people may feel proud of it. I would like to have such a society here in this Africa so that everybody would be proud of. We who were outlaws. Here he says that were means in the past. So we, those who were freedom fighters, he says to them, we refers to freedom fighters of South Africa. He says that earlier they were outlaws. They were outlaws means because of its who were outlaws because of its policy of apartheid. Many countries had earlier broken off diplomatic relations with South Africa. They did not used to follow the rules of that country, so they were called outlaws who do not follow the laws. Outlaws who did not follow the laws. So we who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our own soil. And today I'm feeling so proud that today we are on our own land and giving freedom to our own country. We thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take possessions with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. And all the international guests, they have come for their own possessions, for their own places, for their own uh, ownership. They have come, and he wants to give every one of them the same victory, that is for justice, for peace, for human dignity. Means everybody will have this justice, everybody will have the peace, everybody will have the same self respect. Now, in the next paragraph, we have at last achieved our political emancipation. What is the meaning of emancipation? Freedom from restriction. So Mandela, he says that at last we have received our emancipation, means we are free from every type of restrictions. We are free from inequality. We are free from uh, everything from uh, we are free from everything. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty. So now we are not under any bondage, any foundation of poverty. We can get higher posts. Earlier, they used to get very low post, and because of which they have to live under poverty. They used to be deprived. They were not getting all the facilities which white people used to get. So he says that this will be the country where there will be everybody will have the same right, the same benefits. Sufferings will not be there, and gender discrimination will not be there, or any other type of discrimination will not be there. They will be free from poverty, they will be free from deprivation, they will be free from suffering and gender, all types of discrimination. They all will be equal. They all will have equal rights and equal freedom. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. And on this land, it will never ever happen again. No one will feel oppressed. They will not be suppressed by anyone. They can live their own life with happiness, with equality, with everything. Whatever they want to achieve, they can achieve in this country. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. This will never ever happen in the history. Means everybody will have the same sunshine. The country shall never have to face oppression again. This means the sun shall never set on to glorious a human achievement, means the country will the country shall never have to face oppression again. This is the meaning of this line. So let freedom reign, let freedom sustain. God bless Africa. This is the last line of his speech. Let freedom reign, let freedom rule, and God bless whole Africa, Africans. Thank you. This is the end of first.